please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click on that like button if you like my video. Also click on that notification bell. Thank you. Hi, in this video we are going to learn how we could create a file and add text or content inside of a file. So we will log into our control node and we will create our playbook, and we are going to name the playbook as add text.yaml file. Of course, you could pick any name of your choice. Now, what goes inside of the playbook? And as you know, very first thing is we define that it's a YAML file, and then we start with the name of the playbook. Create a file and add text. Then the host, where do you want it to run it against, or where do you want to create that file? At this For this video, we will create our file to our local host, meaning we will create on the control node where we're running our Ansible. All right, good. Now let's go into the task, what exactly you want to do. So very first thing we want to do is, of course, to create a file, and the second is to add text. So these are the two tasks we wanted to do, and we could put them both under the same one task. So we'll define the tasks. The very first task, and the name of that, is to create a new file. And what is the module we should be using to create a file? It should be the file module, yes. Then you need to define where are you creating and what will be the name of the file. So we're creating in slash temp, and the name of the file will be George. All right, and that's the location and the name of the file. Then the state, what do you want to do with the file? I mean, if it exists, do you want to delete it by putting in state equal epson, or state to be touched because you want to create it? So in this case, we are creating it, so we need to use touch. All right. Then the next task within this play is to add text to the file. So now file is created. Now we need to populate some text into the file. And by the way, this is very useful. Let's say if you want to update your etc host file, your NTP configuration file, or your HTTPD configuration file, and you have to update that to, let's say, 100 different servers. So you don't want it to log into those 100 servers and update or add some new information to the file. So that's when you this module block in file comes to your rescue. This is the one that actually helps you add text to your files. All right, then the module needs to know where your file is located, and we define the path. Our file is in temp directory, and the name of the file is George. So let's say if you are updating etc host file, then here you would put in here or any configuration file. Now the block is the parameter that you need to use to put in what exactly that you want to add into it. I'm just adding random text to the file because George is one of the main characters of Seinfeld show, and he is Jerry's best friend. And by the way, Seinfeld show is a sitcom, and he is the best friend of Jerry, who created the Seinfeld show. So it's just the text that I'm adding to it. So let's say if you are adding into etc host file and you want it to be added in a proper indentation, you could define that proper indentation by putting block colon space and then putting pipe, and then you could hit enter and put down the exact way that you want, like IP and host name. All right, so then once the file is created, these are the two tasks that we want to create in display. Then what happens? Of course, add text to the file, then we run the Ansible playbook, and it will create the file and add text. So let's go into our control node and let's create the file, which by the way, I have already created for you to save some time, and we'll go over it and then we'll run it. So my Ansible node is right here, and I'm already logged in as root, or if you are running as yourself or different user, just make sure you're logged in as that person. All right, now let's go to our playbook that I created earlier, add text.yaml file. And if you notice, I added everything exactly the same as I have it on my PowerPoint slide. So localhost task is to create a new file, and then the file is the module, the path to define where you want to create the file, the state is to touch, meaning create a file. Name is next is this is the next task of the play. Add text to the file, and then we'll use block in file, the name of the module. Path where you want to add the text, and what is the text is actually the block. All right, so that is saved. Let's go ahead and run it. And we'll run it as Ansible dash playbook and add text.yaml. All right, create a file and add this is the name of the playbook. Gathering facts, create local host is going to the local host, which is this is the own host. Changed to perfect, meaning it created the file and it added the text. So how do we verify it? We could just simply do cat temp George. This will tell me that the file has been created and the content of the file. So the file is there, definitely, and here are the contents of the file. And by default, when you run or when you add text through Ansible block, then it will add these two lines where it says begin Ansible manage block and then end Ansible manage block. But of course, this has no effect on any of your file or configuration file because it starts with pound. So anything or any line that start with pound, it's actually the comment in a file and it has no effect on the file. So anyway, so now you know how to create a file or copy a file and then you could add a text to a file.